Hi, I'm Brad Morgan, one of the pastors of Memorial Drive United Methodist Church. We are so glad that you've joined us today for the Daily Word. In the Gospel of Luke, we're told a story about two men on their way to the village of Emmaus. Listen to what happens to them along the way. This is in Luke chapter 24, starting in verse 13. Now, on that same day, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem, and talking with each other about all these things that had happened. While they were walking and discussing, Jesus himself came near and went with them, but their eyes were kept from recognizing him. And he said to them, "What are you discussing with each other while you walk along?" They stood still, looking sad. Then one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answered him, "Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem who does not know the things that have taken place there in these days?" He asked them, "What things?" They replied, "The things about Jesus of Nazareth, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how our chief priests and leaders handed him over to be condemned to death and crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one to redeem Israel. Yes, and besides all this, it is now the third day since these things took place. Moreover, some women of our group astounded us. They were at the tomb early this morning, and when they did not find his body there, they came back and told us that they had indeed seen a vision of angels who said that he was alive. Some of those who were with us went to the tomb and found it just as the woman had said, but they did not see him. Then he said to them, "Oh, how foolish are you, and how slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have declared. Was it not necessary that the Messiah should suffer these things and then enter into his glory?" Then, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted to them the things about himself in all the scriptures. As they came near the village to which they were going, he walked ahead as if he were going on, but they urged him strongly, saying, "Stay with us, because it is almost evening, and the day is now nearly over." So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. They said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was talking to us on the road, while he was opening the scriptures to us?" That same hour they got up, returned to Jerusalem, and they found the 11 and their companions gathered together. Thanks be to God for the reading of God's holy word this morning. As we're looking at that passage, the thing that really kind of gets me thinking about that is we're looking at a relational understanding of God. And what our relational understanding of God does is when we gather with other followers of Jesus, sometimes we find that Jesus has been walking with us the whole time. Now, I know it's an unusual time where many of us are socially isolating. I have my mask right here, and we've been practicing safe distancing, and we feel at times kind of isolated or away from some of our fellow followers of Jesus. But the good news in this beautiful story is that we can be reminders to each other that we are indeed never alone, that God is with us. We can recount the ways through grace that God has been with us along this journey the whole way. And whenever we today find ourselves going from place to place, through the blessing of communion, through the presence of God with us, we can be reminded that indeed we are not alone. And friends, I think that's the biggest thing I want to encourage you to do, is to reach out today to someone who needs to be reminded that they are not alone, and allow that relational love you share to help remind them of the grace we have in Jesus. For when we retell the stories of Jesus, when we hear the blessings of his grace, when we remember what God has done in the world to give us grace, oh, my friends, it feels as if Jesus has been walking with us all along. So I encourage you today to reach out to someone besides yourself outside of your home, and let them know that indeed they are not alone and that you love them in the name of Jesus. I hope you have a great and blessed day. Thank you for joining us for today's Holy Word. Goodbye.